Hello guys, Shane's here from the Complexati Gaming channel. Currently you are looking on a SmackDown 2 running in RetroArch. This is the default look which you will get when emulating games. There are no enhancements, no shaders, and so on. But right now you are looking at SmackDown 2, but this is, in my subjective opinion, a definitive way of how it should look. We are using shaders and bezels to replicate the nostalgic look of older TV, to bring back the old school vibes. If you are interested in this stuff, stay tuned. I will show you how you can improve your emulation setup for wrestling games. Alright, to achieve this, what we're gonna do is that we will install RetroBat. RetroBat is an emulation frontend which can organize all of your retro games, and you can already easily manage the settings of the emulators. You can set up the shaders, you can set up bezels, and you can do much more. As RetroBat is an emulation station frontend, it will already massively help you with your library organization. It works great for huge libraries of multiple systems, and it will work great either if you are emulating, for example, just the wrestling games. It's just suitable for all of the emulation use cases. To install RetroBat, just follow the installation wizard, the link will be in the description. If you are a little bit familiar with the emulation already, you would probably know that there is something called BIOS files. The BIOS files either need to be dumped from the original PS1 hardware, in my cases I'm using PS1 emulation, or you can get it from another sources, let's say more shady sources. I can't talk about it, but the important thing is that you need to place the BIOS to the RetroBat installation folder BIOS. As the next step which we have here is that we need to place the ROMs in the proper directory. This means we need to place our games into the correct system name in the RetroBat folder. So the task is now to navigate to the RetroBat, select folder called ROMs, and in the folder ROMs we need to select our system. I am using PSX, which is also known as PS1 for our demonstration, but you can have different, you can have like N64 or any other system name. As soon as you will start RetroBat, you should see following screen. First thing I would already recommend is to connect the gamepad, as the frontend is more suitable to be used with the gamepad. As soon as gamepad will be connected, I would recommend also checking it for updates, as sometimes there are some hotfixes which are not covered in full releases, so it might be worth checking that for latest emulator fixes or even updates. Alright. As of now, we have our RetroBat installed and updated, so we can finally get to the fun part. First, we're gonna set up a scraper. Scraper will automatically find the pictures for our game covers, etc., so the library will look nice and cool. However, we need to be registered on a Screenscraper.fr with a free account, to be actually able to scrap the files from their API. In the Options tab, you can highly customize the scraper settings, which will determine what pictures will actually be downloaded. You can choose that you want the original game boxes or title screens, which will be then shown up in the game list menu. I'll put there some pictures for reference, so you see what we can achieve here. And as of now, we have our library initialized. This means we can finally proceed with the real emulation settings. And now we will do the shader configuration. To begin, press the start button on your controller and navigate to Updates and Downloads. Select Content Downloader and move to the Shaders and Mega Bezels section. You can browse the multiple bezels and shaders. For our demonstration, I will use Coco All-in-One CRT bezel, which is my favorite. The Coco All-in-One bezel is usually by default in RetroArch. We just need to download it here, so the RetroBat will properly pass the information to RetroArch when starting the game. And now we will finally configure the graphics. To do so, press the Start button on your controller and go to the game settings. In the game settings, scroll all the way down and find Per System Advanced Configuration. In my case, I will select PlayStation here because I'm demonstrating PlayStation setup. There are multiple configuration options, so we will start from the top. The first important choice is to select an emulator. We will select one of the RetroArch emulators. These are called libretro here, and I will be choosing Mednafen PSX hardware. For performance, you might choose Swan Station or PCSX rearmed, especially for ARM CPUs or lower-end PCs. The Mednafen PSX hardware is probably the best emulator in the case of accuracy. You might know it as a Beetle PSX as well. As we have chosen our emulator, we will now choose a shader set. Shader is a post-process effect which can transform the look and feel of the game. My aim is to bring it as close as I remember it from the childhood. In this case, I am choosing a Coco All-in-One TV PAL My Old, which is replicating TV's look in Europe. You can experiment with multiple ones. You can find more of them in Content Downloader section. For decorations, we will turn it off, as I want to fully use the ambient effect of this bezel. But you can check the decorations and select if you might like it. You can even use a bezel project, which will add a suitable game overlay to the black bars. For internal resolution, my recommendation is not to go higher than 4 times, as it would mostly conflict with the shader. I am using 2 times here, in order to combine upscaling and nice effect of the shader. In order to fully utilize the bezels, please set the game aspect ratio to full. In case of PlayStation 1, you can enable the PGXP perspective correction. This will remove the wobbly effect PS1 is known for, but this is more like a personal preference. Set the core video renderer to Vulkan. If your GPU supports it, that's usually the best API for emulating games. Please keep in mind that different emulators might have those options listed differently. This showcase is just for Beetle PSX. Set the controller type to DualShock. This will make sure the rumble effects will work properly and it will natively support the analog stick. If you face following warning, don't worry, it's expected. By default, RetroBat expects quite unusual BIOS files, and that's the PSP BIOS for PS1. You can simply disable the check in the main menu. As we know, we have our BIOS already there. That's it guys, you are now successfully running an emulated game. If this is enough for you, thanks for watching, you can safely drop off the video. But if you would like to see more, please stay for another 2 minutes. I will show you some further cool things. I would like to also mention one advanced feature, and that would be overwriting the RetroBat settings. As RetroBat is trying to overwrite everything, it might be complicated for some use cases. We can simply set RetroArch to override it back, for example shader configs. But first, we need to enable the options in the menu as RetroBat is hiding them in the RetroArch. To do so, follow those steps. We will just simply enable everything to on so we can see it in the menu. It would be missing otherwise. And as of last step, we will apply the content directory override just as I did. This will ensure the override gets loaded during the start of the RetroArch. And that would be it, guys. Thanks for watching, and if this will have a positive feedback, I will definitely do a guide for other systems as well. But depends if this will have a positive feedback and if it would make sense to do it. Thanks everyone, bye!